Prone. All right, let me try this. Howdy, my friend. All right, this is gonna throw something. What is it gonna throw? Throw bad Alec? No. Bad Alec, bad Alec. No. Parse error. Probably one of those. Something like that. I don't know. Wait, I want the as function, don't I? So probably adapter. Yeah. That's a good song. Yeah. Sorry, my friend, I'm not talking too much. I need to get back into the code. Alright, so let's just say, let's catch any error, freak out, figure out. Alright, let's just figure out. For now, rethrow it. But beyond that, I'll just do this. Oh wait, oh wait, oh wait, oh wait, oh wait. I think I have it in. Yep. I could just do context.client init packet. And now, no worries, just palming to see how your project is progressing. Yeah, netcode is very difficult. I think one of the most difficult things I've done, but did some reading, came up with the start of a protocol such that I can get started with synchronization across the network, which is probably the hardest part. Like this stuff is the easy part where you define like the actual communication, but to sort of initialize a connection. Um, but like yeah, so this is like the easy part, but I still didn't really know how to do this very cleanly, and then I realized I should probably use a state machine like this, and I got these states, and now I'm just going through them such that it does one, finishes, goes to the next one, and it's always non-blocking, so I don't have to freeze up when connecting to a server and doing all this communication. So right now, so it's kind of nifty. So like I put it in the client context here. So first you set it to starting and you set the address, and then it'll connect and set this to connecting, and then you have a host available, and then you start the connection. But after you set the server peer, I think. this is set after the connection is acknowledged, and it's just sort of it's a fairly easy way I find to use in terms of being aware of where we are at currently in the connection status to properly alert the user, and also not block, which is why it's a step function that runs in small increments. So that's the easy part, and I think I figured that out. So I'm implementing it now. Hoping I thought of everything. Obviously, something will come up probably, but then comes the syncing, where I send inputs from client to server and state updates from server to client. So that's here. I thought this was pretty nifty. I have an 8-bit integer input where it's the first 4 bytes are, well, the leftmost bytes, bits, sorry, forward, left, right, and backward, and then the remaining bits, that should be bits, are the client's current weapon. So like you'd be able to switch weapons between, like, say you have, I mean, that means a maximum of 2 to the 2 to the, how do you do this? It's like 2 to the second to the first plus 1. 15. Okay, so they can have 15 weapons maximum, which is completely fair, like currently. So that way it's pretty efficient in terms of just sending a byte and a float. And then this is like the approximate times that the water in the boat can be simulated. Like the boat can be simulated in terms of its own client water, so that doesn't get weird, because that would get really weird if all of a sudden your boat's moving forward, but the wave hasn't hit you yet, kind of something like that. So this is my method of keeping it synchronized, is by sending the time along to the server, so the server can verify that yes, you're like, because once the server knows your orientation, that'll determine how you shoot. That's very important. So that's part of the skill ceiling of the game, hopefully. Ye I read a little bit about this. I Yes, yes, but yes. If I understand state synchronization, then yes. If you know more than me, and you just understood my explanation and you think it's state synchronization, it probably is. But I'm not completely sure on the exact, like, what if my changes still constitute state synchronization, or what. I was really this article was really helpful. So yes, yes. So this was saying both input and then using snapshot interpolation, and then yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Hey, Henry. Yeah, yeah, I've been reading that too. I guess the issue for that for me is basically, again, syncing the water, which is just, for right now, it's just Perlin noise, and time is just time of the game. So it's very smooth and it's fast and it works well enough. I want to make it a little better. I want to use maybe FFT, but I don't really know the math behind it. So we'll see. But anyway, like, that was sort of the issue, is like I couldn't really synchronize the time for everyone, even if it's just a little bit off. It won't really work. So I was like, all right, give everyone the same time. So I knew I couldn't be deterministic in that sense, because it 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 wouldn't be. So let's see. So now we have the client init packet available. That's all we need. Then the user should populate the inventory field. So right, yeah, cool. I'm glad you seem to know some bit about this. So that's very cool. Do you see any Well, that's good. That's good. So now it's time to set clients context changed, event handled. So okay, that's good. And I believe that's it. Fair enough. That's all you need, really. Fake it till you make it. That's what I'm doing. See if we got any more. Wonder why it doesn't show you in there. There it is. Stupid Twitch chat. All right. So now the client needs to send loadouts. So that's defined here. So the inventory. So presumably the client picks or already knows it and sets this value and then calls this function. Oh, this is such a long function. Fuck me. That's okay. I can split it up later. It's just a big switch. It's just a big jump table. Mind checking out in your own time. Might give you some ideas. It did me. Yeah, you know what? Speaking of which, I don't know if you were here for that, but I was telling. Ooh. Oh, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Actually, this looks great. I gotta. Let me pause that. I will check that because that looks incredibly fruitful. Check this guy out. This is where I got most of my information on, especially this one. I think I just went to this website. Here you go. I'll post it in there for you if you're interested. Where is it? There it is. But yeah, that's actually a very cool talk that looked interesting as hell. Cool. Mhm. Oh, it's the same guy? No. Oh, wow. I'm an idiot. Wow. Well, it makes sense because wow, that's so funny. I didn't even notice. But that makes sense because this guy's pretty damn good. Oh yeah, this is literally what he's writing is. Oh wow. Networking for physics. Networking for jeez, network physics. Ah, of course it is. This is what his is probably the series is based off of this talk. Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great because you know what? Some of these articles are locked down to for subscribers. So he's gonna release them, and I guess he's not done with them. But some of this stuff would be useful. So I'm betting the talk he talks about it. That's so funny. That's so funny. I completely. All right, let's commit this. Wait, do I still need that include? Cool. So I don't even. Client in a packet. Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm shooting myself in the foot re-implementing all this stuff, you know? Like instead of using like RackNet or something, using a big game engine, but it's actually cool. You know, how would you ever learn this otherwise? Like seriously. You can't just read about it because you're gonna forget immediately and just not care, not see the like you really experience, man. Tops all. All right, loadouts, sending loadouts. So I just need to serialize our inventory. I already have code for that. Serialize this. I gave you a hard time last time I was in here about not using framework, but I'm coming around to agreeing with you. Oh, did you? I don't even remember. Fair enough. I mean, fair enough. I mean, I'll give myself a hard time about not using a framework. Uh, but yeah, it's really, I mean, it's Henry's cool. He's the modeler. He's the one who was. I don't know if he's still here, but it's good. He's cool with me kind of working on my own engine because it's much slower than it would have been writing a game with an engine. I mean, it, writing an engine really slows down the game development process, obviously, but it's nice he's willing to accept that because I'm doing this for like I said, learning purposes. And especially here now, like the net code, like I've never implemented something close to it. And honestly, I started a week ago trying to do this. I had no clue. Hi, Henry. I had not a clue what to do. He could have told you. Henry could have told you. We were talking, and I told him like I have no clue how to even start. And it's like, oh my God. And then I tried some things and I was like, wait, this is a pain in the ass to do communication like back and forth. So I realized, hey, a state machine would probably work and I could implement it like this. And here I'm doing it. And it seems pretty good right now. I should probably try it before I implement the entire freaking thing, but I'm going to take a risk. I just want to kind of work on this now. I don't really want to work on anything else. Oh, I know, but I know. I know. I know. I know. I think I'll do this one, then I'll try to do like a write code to work against this interface that I just made. So all right, so yeah, it's hard not to like, I don't know. It's I don't even know. I don't have a clue if the whole thing with sending the time from the client to the server, and oh my God, I don't even know. But I do think though it's not totally impossible because it is very mathematical. Where even if you're like, say, if I'm rewriting re so basically I take an old state and resimulate the inputs on top of that old state that I know is true. Like doing that and doing like linear interpolation using heights to generate the buoyancy on the boat from a specific time to generate the Perlin noise, like all that stuff is very, very, very mathematical. And it seems in that for that reason I feel like it's actually attainable. Like I can see in my head how first you use the time to get the Perlin noise at certain points under the boat based on a state that you previously had after simulating the inputs on top of that. It's like it's as much as it's a pain, I think it's mathematical as hell, and that makes it a little easier as opposed to a very I don't know how else it would be though. Yeah, if it's predicted, yeah, I mean, I guess you could say it that way. I mean, the reason it's if you just need to kind of think your networking around the math part of it as opposed to the vice versa, because vice versa is not going to work. Yeah, this is terrible. Look at this. This function is going on 11. So 127 minus 11, which is 116. It's terrible. Much too long of a function. But I can separate this into individual functions. But honestly, I mean, what's the difference? At a point. I mean, I know there's a difference, and I will do that eventually. But it's funny because they're like, oh, you can't make functions this long, but like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just, I don't know what I'm talking about. You're gonna love watching that video. It really put it all in perspective for me. That's good. I'm excited because this guy obviously knows his stuff, and like I said, just by reading his articles, like you kind of get a feel for it. And I'm not quite there yet. I know that, but hopefully that video will help, and it seems like it will. Oh, that's fun. So instead of serializing the version number, let's serialize the inventory. Oh, should I set the current version here? I should, shouldn't I? No, because that's protocol version. Does it? Well, no, it's not. It's both things. I could probably serialize both. Yeah. The fucking concepts that they have is like and then it's like I mean, I'm lucky I'm using ENet. I don't know what I would do if I had to implement a whole reliable system on top of UDP. Like that's what ENet is. It's like the first time I was using ENet, it was like I was a kid in a candy store. It was like, yes, yeah, I could do all these nice things. I should write like a template function to do this for me. I actually don't need the whole context. What do I need? I need the struct, which would be the template parameter, and buff data, buff size. So that'll be done. So I just need the server peer. Okay. I see. I see. How does that? I know I've dabbled my feet in Unreal networking, but I didn't do too much, so I never really got it working. I think it ought to be pretty good. I think the same concepts are there, really. The idea of like basically choosing between, all right, I want this state synchronized. I want this to be predicted, or what's it called? Entity prediction. Yeah, I looked into that. That's the problem with this engine writing my own, is that I'm kind of annoyed when I don't understand everything there is to know about a system. So I was really having trouble like getting my head around uh, Unreal Engine 4, and so it made it very difficult to code for me. And it seems counterintuitive because programmers are supposed to work with abstractions, you know? I'm supposed to be able to use it without necessarily knowing how it's done. But without, but then again, they're not very clear. I feel like they're not very friendly to, for example, C++ programmers because it's like they always talk about their blueprints, and I'm not really interested in writing blueprints because I feel like I can write C++. I should be able to, I feel like maybe it won't be any faster, but it'll be comfortable to me, and that kind of, I guess that turned me off too. I really want to give it a try though because I know it's a really solid engine, and I know it's not anything to dismiss. So when I was looking into networking though, I absolutely heard of the character movement component thing with the prediction, the correction. I remember hearing about that, but I never really looked into it because I wasn't really sure where you would use it, you know? Because yeah, I don't know, man. But the issue, I know you can, but the issue I found, Belbert, was that it was poorly documented, in my opinion. I didn't find very good documentation, or at least official documentation, which is really honestly where I only looked, which was probably a mistake. But I didn't find very good documentation on using C++. They were mostly talking about using blueprints and then saying um, you could do everything you can in blueprints with C++, but they didn't really tell me how. So I was like, all right. But I do want to go look back at it because I know I can benefit from it. Basically, learning how it works in comparison to my engine, for example. Like, there's things to be learned, and it's a shame I can't learn them right now. But all right, so what are we doing here? Pure send, 56. That was easy. All right. So now all I have to do is say, or I could just do send data actually, and the peer. I've heard that, and I actually gained something by looking through the engine source code that they give you if you join the organization on GitHub. That was fruitful. I think I learned something. I don't even remember. Did I just get something? No. Thought my phone buzzed. All right, now let's change this code down here to do that. Serialize the inventory. So let's just send data, context inventory, and the context server peer, yeah. Now we're waiting for a response or failure due to versioning. No, we are not. We are waiting for how our inventory is received. We're waiting to see if the server accepts our. All right, that ought to do. That ought to do. I wish these would change automatically. I need to worry about them, but I guess it's not the end of the world. Oh, it's such a long function. It's scaring me. Blueprints are about 10, but that's actually it is good. I mean, it's definitely not bad, and considering most games don't need all that performance, I don't necessarily have a problem with blueprints. I just I feel like to me like they're honestly to me they're much harder to comprehend than C++ just because I've been doing C++ for so long. It's kind of I mean maybe I should probably get into blueprints and kind of understand, and through that I'm sure I would understand properties of the system just empirically, just seeing what happens and being able to mess around. But I just haven't really had the time with school and with this. I've kind of wanted to focus on this. So if I'm not at school, I'm doing this, and if I'm not doing this, I'm playing Counter-Strike, and that's really all I can focus on. So, all right. What do I want to do? Oh, I want to do the version thing. I need to change it to there's a client version and there's a protocol version. So if either of them don't match, I guess, or technically the server could could do the right one. I mean, technically that could happen. So for client context, let's do we already know the client, so let's do so there'll be an internal struct, I guess, for version info. So we have the client version and the protocol version. How we doing? Well, with having to sometimes rerun physics simulations in a single frame for networking correction, you want to make your physics code as concise as possible to assure you can actually afford to run them. That's fair. That's fair. Um, but isn't that stuff basically done internally anyway? Like, would you have physics code in blueprints? Because my understanding of it was you would just kind of say, all right, this is well, I guess, I mean, unless you're doing like custom physics, which I don't know why you would necessarily. But if you are doing that, then you would probably write in C++ for obviously performance reasons, which makes perfect sense. I guess I'm not aware of how physics works in and how networking works in tandem with that in the UE engine. So can't really rip Red Crane. Hey, it's Null. Hi, Null. What did you say? Just a space? Oh, trucks. Henry, what was that one you were using before? I thought was so funny. Oh, this one, this one, this one, this one. There we go. It's not rip. Look at this excellent website. Null. Null TF made for us. I love it. I actually love it, Null. Like there's Hazza, there's me. Oh man, Robert. Robert. Is the blog still up? Test blog entry. I love it. Rich guitar boy. What is happening? I love this website though. I actually do. Like we're keeping this shit. And I still consider this Red Crane. I just different game, you know? Henry. Hey guys, not like this, not like this, not like this. Okay. So instead of doing the version here, we're going to take the current client protocol version and we're going to serialize version, and version is going to be made up of current protocol version and the context client version. So protocol comes first and then client. Good. Oh, I wish I was using D language. I could specify. I could say like protocol version equals and client version equals, and then the order wouldn't matter. Yeah, our good friend Null did it from scratch, just like me. Hey, you also wrote the blog by scratch. Whoops. Better than the one I can make. I made a website for someone, but it's not very good. But they liked it. I mean, they liked it. I knew they would like it. They're kind of I guess old-fashioned, you can say, but I don't know. It's not bad. It's just like it's not great. What have you been working on now? So cool. So I set this is internal, obviously. So let's do C++. Help me. Do you have access to the code? His CS score. Yeah, me too, man. It's actually stupid. Wait, I don't use an event. Well, Hazel likes his Ruby on Rails, then you could do that. I don't know if that's necessarily. What about Flask? Do everything yourself. Oh, no JS. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. Fair enough. I'm almost done. Mm, mm, this is it's not boring. It's just kind of difficult. I need to think. All right. So waiting for inventory conversation confirmation. So am I the only one here who can't code shit? Um. Ask Bill Burt. He hasn't clarified. He hasn't. He's still ambiguous. But beyond that, come on, you know some C sharp, Henry. That's cool. Go looks the best. Go looks like the best option for me, but Go and it doesn't make any sense. But Go is Go and it doesn't make any sense. I've heard it's very. I don't know. I don't know what I feel about Go. I've heard some stuff, but obviously I've never used it, so what can I say? Only what I've heard. So there you go. So we sent the inventory. We're waiting for the check on the inventory. So that's easy. We got to read, unpack rather. We'll wait for a receive. Same thing as this function, 76. I could probably make this abstract over actual thing we're reading. Maybe. And then 77. I'll write down that I basically copied and pasted from this area. 77 to 114. Oh, oh, it worked. Okay. We got some data from the server. If it's 1, well, it should be 1. So let's assume it's 1, and let's read a bool. So let's go like this. Oh, wait. I see. That's cool. Well, you get it. C++ isn't necessarily hard. It's kind of a pain in some ways, but honestly, if you're working with blueprints, you're obviously thinking in that way, and you're kind of, it really it's a state of mind. That's what programming is, in my opinion. I mean, not really, but kind of. So this is where the user, all right, so the event was handled, this was unpacked. Fine. We don't even care if it, because the user will check if it was not properly checked, and then it'll either disconnect or do something or whatever. So I'm just gonna say this is copied from waiting for servo. I almost said servo. At robotics, I'm always writing server instead of servo, and it seems like here I'm always writing servo instead of server. State of syntax. Yes. Uh, Sending team ID. That's easy. We just have to whoops, break, and then send. Hi, Chloe. Hi. And we want to send team, just context.team, and then we need to set the state too. And we also want to say event handled? No, res dot context changed. The only thing is we should make this a pointer, this event, because it might not even be passed in if we do the first couple events. So let's make this a pointer. And then okay. All right. I'll be back in a couple minutes. As soon as I finish this stupid thing. Oh no. So many of them. Oh shit. No, that's okay. That's okay. We're just gonna assume they know what they're doing. Because I realized if we pass a null pointer, we're gonna crash so hard, but obviously the client knows better. We're just gonna do that. I mean, technically we could say, all right, if event like something like this to prevent a crash, which I might have to do, like just break, and then the event won't be handled, that'll be true, and the context wouldn't have changed, that's true, and nothing would change. All right, so that'll be good. So I'll paste that anywhere I need the event specifically. Hello, Matt. Hi. I do in a little bit. Hold on 1 second, because I need to do a couple things, and I was just about to get up. Okay. Okay, in a minute. Sure. Okay, I'm back. So I am currently streaming, guys. So I want to finish a little bit of code. Shouldn't take more than 5 minutes, and I'm gonna cut the stream. And then so can I, not too many, but I got a good group. I got like no. They didn't hear you. They didn't hear you. Don't worry. No, the output was cut. I would have cut it if it was on, but um yeah. And for the people watching the stream, you heard that. Uh yes. That your name's Met. Anyway, so I'm gonna rejoin the call. How about that? Yeah, no more than like 5 to 10. All right. Thank you guys for waiting. Bye. Okay. So, yeah, no, I I know, because I turned it down so I could listen to music anyway, so I remember turning it down. Okay, so let's get this down. So I just do this to signal, event handled, context handled. So if I change the context and the event, if I handle the event so that I can send it to other or handle it other way, like do something else with it because I know it wasn't important to this. I shouldn't need this technically because hopefully this host will do will only do with this. And if they want to do other stuff, they'll use a different host. That would be ideal, but we're not going to assume that right here. So sending team. So all right, so I got for about, I'll probably end up leaving it like 220 or 215 because it won't take that long. So all I'm doing here is I am going to change the context. I am sending the team then, and then I change state. So then I wait for spawn. So now let's unpack. So we got to do one of these again. 156. Whoops. I feel bad copying pasting code. Eventually, I don't know. Eventually this, eventually that. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, so I need this wherever I do events. So let's do that here. Whoops. 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 Oh, I have caps lock on. From there we go. On the back of Giants. What do you mean? There we go. Okay. So now we need to wait for server peer unpack. So we need to unpack a spawn information. So we just say spawn information, spawn information. You never heard the term? No. Oh, it's just information. It should be spawn information. Yeah, I'm curious. What is this? Do, 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 do. Well, I guess I should say on the shoulders of giants. Oh, I feel like I've heard that. Let me look it up. Discovering truth by building on previous discoveries. Interesting. If I have seen further is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Oh, is it like kind of using people who have just like wrecked in terms of, I see. Interesting. 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 I always mess it up. Oh. All right. Do we use the event? Yes, we do use the event. And now playing. Now that's exactly where we stop. So that's where we say playing. And it looks like that's it for now. So let me make sure this compiles. Whoops. You're the dwarf. Whoever you're using code, they're the giant. Like whoever's code I'm using, or I think that's it. Yeah. I agree. I agree. Um, version info. Is spawn information defined? Yep. Error. It has no name. Spawn. Oh. Shit, caps lock is on. Oh my god, that's why everything's... There we go. There we go. Okay, does it compile? Alright. Alright, that's gonna be the end of the stream for today. It's been fun.